everybody? Figured I'd do a video today. I'm about to light up old Bessie right here. I call her Big Bertha. Oh, by the way, I'm Mr. B from Backyard BBQ-R. I'm about to show you how to light up a stick burner. You know, a lot of people ask what's the difference between a stick burner and a regular smoker. Well, stick burner is, as you can see, it's a bunch of wood that you use to fuel your fire. You know, not charcoal. I do things different. Don't get it construed. There's a lot of ways to light a smoker, a lot of ways to maintain the fire. This is just the way I use, you know. Feel free to try it if you like it. If you don't like it, feel free to try somebody else's, because the objective is to get the best tasting, the best quality meat you can once it's complete, right? So what I do is, I put a couple logs, and I got 3 of them, and I just stack them in there. This is a leftover piece from my last smoke, so don't even worry about that. I need to burn it anyway. What I'll do is I'll take some charcoal, about 1/3 of a bag of charcoal, Kingsford. I use Kingsford, and I'll pour it on top, just about 1/3, right? Out of that 1/3, I fill up my chimney. You can see right here with charcoal that I'll end up lighting up. I'll light it up with my little propane torch. A lot of people use they call it a weed burner. Basically what you use to burn weed, growing out of concrete, stuff like that, hooked up to a propane tank. I have one of those too. Just don't feel like using that today. And that would eliminate me from having to use charcoal at all, because I would use my weed burner and just put it right over the wood and sit there until the wood catches on fire. And then once it's got a good fire, just sit there and wait for it. Alright, but today, just because I got enough wood to cook for my cook today, but not enough to just pile in here and get me a good ash going. So I'm using the charcoal because it'll last me anywhere from 3 to 4 hours on burning, which will give me a good ash bed to continue feeding it with wood. But the majority of my fire today will be conducted by using the wood that you see here. This is all cherry and pecan mixture. Always use cherry and pecan, just because the cherry will give your meat a deep red flavor. If you ever seen meat on TV and wonder how they get it like that, you cook it the same way, it's the difference in the wood. That's why I use the combination of cherry and pecan, and hickory if I'm using briskets or whatnot. But like I said, for today's cook, it's going to be pecan and cherry. So we'll be back in a minute. Once I'm gonna pour some charcoal in here, like I said, and I'll show you how to light a chimney, which is the best investment. I've never used lighter fluid in the last 10 years because of just one thing. This thing is 10 years old, so it's an investment. About 15 bucks. You can get them anywhere. You're gonna get the Weber version. You can get the knockoff version is about $10 or whatever. Not sure how long they're gonna last, but like I said, I've had mine for almost 10 years, if not more. So we'll be back in a minute, and I'll show you how to light it once I pour the charcoal in here and we're ready to rock and roll. Alright, be back in a minute. Hey everybody, I'm back. Got my propane torch, ready to rock and roll, ready to light this thing right here we call the chimney. It's got, you know, almost a full bed of charcoal in there. I got a little charcoal in here, and all that is to keep me keep it warm, keep it hot, whatever you want to call it, just so I can keep feeding this wood and get it a good flame. It's gonna take about 45 minutes to come up to temp, 45 minutes to an hour to come up to temp, depending on how thorough, how well you know how to maintain the fire. I would say an hour for the average novice, but for me, I've been doing this for years, so it probably takes me about 45 minutes. If I was in a rush, I could actually get it up and going with a stable temp at about 30 minutes. The only thing with that is, depends on the meat I'm cooking. If I'm doing brisket, if I'm doing a Boston butt, a shoulder or something like that, that's a long cook, I could actually put my meat on there just because it's going to be a while. But if I was doing ribs and you know you want your temperature perfect the entire 5 to 6 hours, depending on if you're doing baby back, St. Louis ribs, beef ribs, or you're doing the actual full slab of ribs, which is St. Louis is basically the full slab of ribs cut. And you can Google that on how to make regular ribs St. Louis. But when you're doing that, or you're cooking something else that you want the temp to be perfect the whole cook, you might want to wait 45 minutes to an hour till your temperature settle, and then you can rock and roll in there. Because if not, you're going to have a higher temp early on in your cook, which will cause you to burn your meat, or you have to recalculate how long it takes to actually completely cook. So that being said, I'll show you how to light your chimney up. It's an easy twist knob. You hear the gas coming. Got a little trigger here. I don't know if you can see the torque, but all I do is light each one of these holes for a little bit and let it run. And in a minute here, you'll see smoke coming out of it. And I'll do maybe 1 or 2 more holes, and then it'll be good to go. Wait about 10-15 minutes. You'll see flames shooting out the top. Make sure my charcoal is ashed over before I pour it into the smoker. And the rest is history. And you just sit and wait for your temperatures to come through. See, there you go. You start seeing the smoke now. If you got any questions, hit me up at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I answer all your questions. Try to get to them as soon as possible. Just because I have no life other than working, coming home, taking care of the family and stuff. But I do this for fun. So yeah, anytime. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Hit me up. And I'll get back to you. We have long dialogue on things that you're thinking of, etc. So we'll be back here shortly, and I'll get back with you. Hey everybody, I'm back. My fire's going real good. I don't know if you can see the flame coming off the top. Obviously I ain't gonna stick my hand over it, but yeah, it's real good right now. I can go ahead and pour my charcoal inside of here and let it sit for a little while and it start to build up. Basically, I'm basing my time based off of not when the charcoal lights up and my temperature set, but when I got a good bed of ash. And what I mean by ash is when your wood burns and you got a pile of embers that are real red, fire red, that are sitting there. Because that's basically what's gonna cook your food, and that's how you keep wood on a wood fire going without all the smoke. All right, for the experienced people, they know what I mean by that. The inexperienced, you know, they like to soak wood and all of that stuff like that. That was me back in the old days when I didn't know what I was doing, soaking wood for 24 hours, sometimes 3-4 weeks, whatnot. But I realized there's a difference in being able to control my smoke. And I can produce as much smoke as I want. You know, people talk about smoke rings and meat and stuff like that. But I can produce almost a 1-inch thick smoke ring if I want by just feeding smoke to it. One thing to remember when you barbecuing though, when you're talking about smoke, meat starts to get bitter after about 160 degrees, right? So that means that when you pumping smoke into your food and you trying to get the whole piece of meat with a smoke ring so you can brag to your boy about how well you cook. Just keep that in mind. Once it gets to about 160 degrees, that's when you throttle back on the smoke and you just produce straight heat. A lot of people use the Texas crutch method. That's where you wrap it with aluminum foil. You know what I'm saying? Speeds up the process for one. Makes it more tender, especially for your Boston butts, your brisket, stuff like that. Because beef takes a while to break down. But just keep that in mind. That after about 160 degrees, you want to throttle back on the smoke. Stop putting wood chips in there. Because that's when your meat will get bitter and people will be like, you're not the barbecue king, you're the smoke king. Alright, so just keep that in mind. So I'm going to take this charcoal right here out of this chimney, pour it into my, what they want to call charcoal basket, and slide it in, and then I'm good to go. The rest of it is maintaining and sticking logs in there every 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what you got. I got an insulated firebox with 2 inches of insulation in between the two, so I can go a little longer with mine, but you just have to keep an eye on it. Plus, I got tools to keep me from running back and forth out here to tell me what my temps is. But this, in a nutshell, is how you start a fire or a smoker, or the way I do it sometimes. Like I said, if you have any questions, you want me to do another video on a different way, I'll be more than willing to do that. If you got questions about the Shirley Fabrication smoker as a user and not the person selling it, let me know. I can vouch for it 100%. These things are off the chain. They do any and everything you want them to do, as long as you actually do what you're supposed to do. Right? So, that being said, I'm going to pour this charcoal in here, and then go from there. And watch them toes. Alright. That's it, America. I'm going to close this up. And then open up my vent so it can breathe a little while. Open up my dampers or whatnot, and I'll be good to go. Ready to rock and roll in about 45 minutes. This is me, Mr. B from Backyard Barbecue. See you guys later.